And we're live. After some time away, we are back finally with another episode of Real Talk. I'm joined by Jake Tato and Jordan Owens to talk about Robin Williams. But before we get into that, Jake, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm getting some echo on your end, I think. Or maybe that'd be Jordan.
It's probably Jordan. I got headphones in. You're golden on my end.
Okay, groovy. But yeah, I'm good. I just realized that I thought I had seen maybe half of Robin Williams movies, and I've seen severely under that. So I'm gonna have to go check some of these out at some point.
Yeah. I don't know which ones you haven't seen, but I would say go check them out. Jordan, how are you doing, sir, Mr. Doubtfire?
Echo. Good. Thanks. No, man, doing good. No, like Jake said, if you really look at his filmography, the dude was a busy guy for a long time. I definitely have some gaps as well. I've seen a good chunk. There definitely is a few though that I have not seen, especially some of his earlier stuff here. So yeah.
Anyway, we were gonna do a nerd list type episode, but I thought, no, let's just keep it casual. Let's just talk about what we think are our favorites and what are our least favorites, which was a lot harder for me to come up with than I thought. So we've each picked three of our favorites, three of our least favorites. I may only have two at the moment, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. And then I thought, let's go with something that's a little underrated. I know we don't usually associate that word with Robin Williams a lot because he is so loved. But I think I've got a good pick. But we'll keep that for later. Right now, should we start with the good or the bad? What do you guys think?
Start with bad so we can end on a high note?
I like the way you think. So, Jake, since you are in the top corner there, why don't you start us off? I have a feeling we might all share a pick.
Yeah, I get that feeling as well. So I'm going to go ahead and throw one that isn't that one, hypothetically. And I'm going to say Bicentennial Man.
That's definitely not on my top three, but good pick.
Yeah. Just one of those ones similar to maybe the hypothetical other one, where it's the story and it's supposed to be very emotional, and we damn well know he's very capable of doing those types of roles. Those will be discussed in the good side, I'm sure, later. But it just misses the mark, and and I'm only remembering it from when I first saw it when it first came out as a kid. So maybe if I go back, I'll feel it more, but it just did not work for me.
Yeah, it's been a while for me since I've seen this movie, and I don't even remember if I finished it. So I don't remember anything about this movie, and it's probably why it's in the bottom three. It wasn't on my list, so maybe this is my third pick now. Jordan, you got any thoughts on Bicentennial Man?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. It's not the tightest movie. If I remember, I at least felt like it was long from when the one time I watched it. Like Jake said, it was on VHS, probably free at the library when I was 12, just to date myself. And so yeah, it was fine. But and he is good in it, actually. I mean, performance-wise, I think he's good. In the end, is kind of a little sappy, and so some of it works. But yeah, it's not the greatest. It's not something that I've ever felt the need to totally rush back to.
Right. I couldn't even tell you who else is in the movie. I couldn't tell you who directed it. I don't remember what year it came out.
I want to say it's right at the end. It was like 2000.
Yeah, that would make sense given the title.
Yeah.
Centennial.
Yeah. I just read the whole Wikipedia for it, and I don't even remember who else is in it. So
1999 Bicentennial Man.
Yeah.
And Bette Davis, Sam Neill, Oliver Platt, amongst others.
Well, since we got that one out of the way, Jordan, give us a what do you think is one of his not as good movies?
All right, here. So, yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I don't really blame him for any of these as far as performance wise, but there's definitely a couple of not so hot titles here, if we have to be talking about them. So, my first nominee, it's a few years before, I believe, Bicentennial Man. It's Flubber. I don't know, even as a kid, I remember it doing much for me here. It doesn't hold up. It was one of those that and my favorite Martian kind of unnecessary remakes. I'm looking at it now. It's 1997 here. He's fine, but it's nothing that he couldn't do, I feel like, in his sleep. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily take advantage of him. Other actors probably could have done the same performance to a large degree, so I'll go with Flubber.
Yeah, it barely misses out on the bottom three for me. I thought his performance in it was a typical Robin Williams performance, and as a younger kid at that time, that's all I wanted. When I watched a Robin Williams movie, like just be Robin Williams, and I'm gonna enjoy it. But now, like maybe not so much. What he can do as an actor. Like this just felt very by the books Robin Williams, and he didn't do anything new or different. He was just Robin Williams, just another day at work. Jake, you got any thoughts on Flubber?
Yeah, it narrowly escapes my bottom as well. As far as ones I've seen, I think it's right there in that fourth, fifth from the bottom slot. Fun, meh, but just not awesome.
Yeah. I love how we're flying through these, and then we're gonna spend like 60% of the time on the good ones. That's my hope. So yeah, I'm going to piggyback off Bicentennial Man for my bottom three because, like I said, I only had two locked in. The one that I did have locked in, and I'm not going to say that it's Robin Williams' fault, but I don't know if he just needed a paycheck when he made this movie. But I blame more of this being a bad movie on his co-star, John Travolta. And that is the movie Old Dogs. I watched this movie once, and once is more than enough. I don't think Robin Williams and John Travolta worked well together, personally. I think the chemistry just wasn't there between the two. And the story, I didn't like the story. I thought it could have been better. Could have been a lot better. Like I said, when I was going through his filmography, because I had my top three just about narrowed. I had my top two, and then I was like, which one's three? And then I saw this one. I was like, oh yeah, because I had forgotten about this movie, and I'm glad I forgot about this movie. But if we're talking the worst of Robin Williams, unfortunately, I think this one has to be brought up. Jordan, what do you think about Old Dogs?
Yeah, 100% no argument here. It's on my three as well. Yeah, going through the least, the least favorite, it was like you said, it was kind of hard because you're like, he's still funny in it. Like Flubber again, he's not bad. But this was definitely one that I feel like kind of had to be mentioned. Again, like you kind of said, this one I feel like even less than Flubber. He's just kind of going through the motions here. It's super forgettable here. I think Seth Green's in it, if I recall correctly. I don't even hold me to that. John Travolta. Yeah, it's right there. Like I'll watch RV 3 to 4 times before I want to watch this again. And I don't love RV, so yeah, Old Dogs makes my list as well. So that is also one of my three.
And yes, Seth Green is in this, as well as what a cast here. We have Seth Green, Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky, Bernie Mac is in this, Matt Dillon, Justin Long, Dax Shepard. So I mean, there's some good actors in it, but it just missed the mark.
No, yeah, unfortunately, comedies, yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people, to a degree, they see Robin Williams on the call sheet, they're gonna join, you know what I mean, for fun. So,
yep. Jake, you got any thoughts on Old Dogs?
Did not watch this one for reasons that are clearly obvious. So do not have any thoughts on it other than I did not want to watch it based on trailers and whatnot.
Okay, this is the one I thought would be the commonality between us, but apparently, I'm sure had you seen it, it would be.
Probably,
But
I'm sure there are probably 3 worse movies than my 3 that I just haven't seen. So
maybe, yeah. So what do you have as your other bottom 3 to go with Bicentennial Man?
I went with the one I thought was going to be the common Patch Adams. Much similar to, like I said, Bicentennial Man, in that it's supposed to be this heartfelt story, but it just doesn't hit the way, again, the ones that I'm sure will be in the top 3 do. True story, but they didn't really stick well enough to it, and they didn't do enough to warrant it being as embellished as it was, in my opinion. I'm not even that familiar with the true story, but just some facts I read up on while I was doing some light research for this.
I have not seen Patch Adams, actually. So I have no opinion on this movie. Jordan, do you?
I don't hate Patch Adams. It's definitely in the vein of Bicentennial, where it's a little on the nose sometimes. I think there's a couple of good scenes, like in the courtroom and whatnot, where I thought he sold it well enough to where, like, I think it's an all right movie. You know what I mean? I don't hate it. It's again, it's not one of his best because, like you said, it is kind of trying to walk that line of sentimentality, and it goes over the top at some point, to Lifetime territory and whatnot. But I think there's enough redeeming, and the heart's in the right place too. Unlike in Old Dogs and other things, to where I don't hate it. So I'm not going to argue much, but yeah, it's not in my bottom 3.
So what else is in your bottom 3?
The only other one I have to mention here, I just thought this was a weird. It tries to be dark and then funny. Death to Smoochie is actually on my list. I just thought it was an odd piece. His character's odd in it. Again, he's not necessarily bad in it, but it's a weird movie to try to find motivation or to try to find the enjoyment in it as well. Edward Norton, Jon Stewart. Yeah, this is an odd one that I think a long time ago I tried watching for the second time in case I missed something, and I don't know, I just thought it was an odd piece and just not one that I enjoyed all that much.
Another one that I have not seen. So again, no opinion. Jake.
That one I have seen, but I don't really remember, and I may have been in and out, like just half awake, kind of thing. So I don't really remember it, but like I remember funny scenes, and I know I love Ed Norton. The man can do no wrong, basically. But so I don't really have an opinion on this one.
Oh, I love the fact that we've had maybe one common between the 3 of us, and not between like the 3 of us, just one movie that's been mentioned by at least 2 of us. So maybe Robin Williams has more bad movies than I thought. That makes me sad. The last one I want to bring up, because like I said, I piggybacked off Jake's Bicentennial Man because I'm a cheater. The last one I want to bring up is RV. I don't like this movie. I've seen it one time. I think Robin Williams is okay at best. I don't think any of the other supporting actors. I don't think this movie didn't need to be made. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that like it, but you got a young Josh Hutcherson in this movie, and yeah, it's not memorable. I don't remember. I just remember not liking it, and so if I can remember not liking the movie and not knowing anything about the movie, just that I didn't like it, obviously it's going to be in my bottom 3. I mean, I think that's fair to say. You guys got opinions on RV?
much like the other one. I just didn't want to watch it. Like a lot of those late Robin Williams ones where I could tell that he's in it, but like no one else is really in it. I just avoided those ones.
Makes sense. Jordan, what do you think about RV?
Yeah, I kind of already made fun reference of RV before, saying how I would prefer that over Old Dogs, but not by much. So yeah, it shows that I'm not a big fan of this either. Again, it was a one-time watch. I feel like it was randomly shown to us, maybe on like a slow day at school. I think I've ever told the reason I watched it. But hey, let's not forget. I mean, you talk about a cast here, Hutcherson, and also young JoJo isn't in, right? Everyone remembers JoJo. But Jeff Daniels is in it too. Like again, there is people in here. Jeff Daniels, Kristen Chenoweth, the Will Arnett all have small parts here. So again, there's people that are trying, and there's a couple laughs. Like it went by that slow day at school one time, but yeah, it's not a high one. It's another one where you're like, this is a paycheck movie.
Yeah. Well, this also came out the same year as Night at the Museum, so maybe he was like, I made RV and now I need to make something better. Let me go play Theodore Roosevelt. So I think I've got my 3 mentioned. Jake, you got one more?
I have Man of the Year, which was a fantastic theatrical experience for me. I was not watching the movie whatsoever. But when I did go back and check it out again, it just doesn't quite work for me. And it wasn't atrocious or anything, but it's just of the ones I've seen, that one ended up being.
I think we're both curious as to why it was a good theater experience.
I wasn't gonna ask.
I am.
Obvious reasons.
Good popcorn.
Fantastic popcorn.
That was the prestige for me, but my movie was also good on top of other reasons. Never mind.
This is a PG show, you guys.
There's a little innuendo there for you folks at home.
A little.
I personally love Man of the Year. I think Robin Williams is hilarious in this movie. So this was nowhere near my bottom 3. This would probably be, if I was making a list of all the Robin Williams movies I've seen, it would be in the middle. I think he's perfectly fine in this movie. And I'm still waiting for Tuesday Bingo Nights in Congress. Jordan, you got thoughts on Man of the Year?
I'll play middleman to a degree here between the two of you, because kind of like you said, it's middle level. He's good enough in it, and there's a couple of moments where I didn't think too hard about putting this in my bottom, although, man, it's... Oh, man, someone really likes it. They were rushing to your house to go watch it right now.
They're on their way.
So yeah, there's enough moments to make it redeemable and like an okay watch. It's something that again I kind of watched probably a couple years after it had been out. I didn't rush to it because it got a lot of middling reviews. So enough moments to where I'd say it's a slight recommendation to a degree. So yeah, not in my bottom, but not nowhere near my top either.
Yeah, it's a good one-time watch, and then if you're one of those that likes to put on movies for background noise, this isn't a bad one to choose, in my opinion. But I can understand why some people don't like it. Like I can totally see that. Jordan, what's your last choice?
That's it for me. I agreed with you on what was it, Old Dogs?
Oh, right, yes.
Yes, so yeah, mine was Old Dogs, Smoochie, and the Flubsters.
The Flubsters. That would have been a better title. The Flubsters. Sounds like a terrible 80s punk rock band. And Jake, your bottom 3. Let's remind the people again. The one person that's watching right now.
Bicentennial Man, Patch Adams, and Man of the Year.
Right. And mine, I piggybacked off of Bicentennial Man because I'm a cheater. I'm just gonna keep mentioning that. And then I had RV and Old Dogs as my bottom 3. Not great movies. Not terrible performances from Robin Williams, because I think he tries in every single movie does. I think he's just that kind of performer. But the movies themselves, at best. Let's go into. We all picked an underrated movie. Let's jump into that real quick. Jordan, what do you think is an underrated Robin Williams movie / performance, whatever you want?
I just realized the joke I'm making doesn't make sense because the movie I'm going to mention is Insomnia, where you don't sleep. I was doing a sleeping joke, realizing that it didn't make sense. No, I think he's really good in Insomnia. It's a Christopher Nolan movie before all the Batmans. Again, it's long, but it's worth it, and he's really good in it too. Has a couple different levels to him as well. JB3! Why do you change your profile pic every day? It's confusing.
Every single day. It's like we're on some random scavenger hunt, but
we're going to realize he murders somebody every day according to those photos, and we'll all piece it together later. I love you, JB3. But yeah, Insomnia is the one I'm going to go with here, man. I think it's decently reviewed, but again, it kind of gets overlooked from some of other Nolan's films, and like in the Robin Williams pantheon as well, because he's kind of third billing, if you will. But yeah, I'm going to go with Insomnia.
Jake, you got thoughts on Insomnia?
Have not seen it, but are you guys following the FCL and stuff like that? It was a question today.
Very. Oh, okay. JB3 says whenever it applies, I love Hook. I don't know if it's going to come up in the top 3. It's not in. I don't know if I'd consider it underrated, if I would put it here, but because people love Hook, it gets tough. It gets so much love.
Back in the day, I feel like it's one of those films that wasn't super well reviewed.
It wasn't. No, I'm pretty sure it's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
I have some good memories. That's definitely a repeated VHS watch in my house back in the day.
Yeah, I almost watched it the other day. I had to go.
Oh wow!
Babysit.
29%.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I had to go babysit a friend of mine. He had just had surgery, so he wasn't allowed to do much, and his significant other was going to a girls' night, and that was one of the choices. And we were this close to watching it, but we went with another choice. So Hook is definitely getting love still. But back to Insomnia, I love this movie. I actually just watched this movie for the first time this year as part of my little journey I'm going on, which I need to catch up. I'm so behind. Anyway,
how you doing? Not so good.
I'm like 10 movies behind, but
never saw one coming.
Yeah, it's terrible how life gets in the way sometimes. But yeah, his performance, like I think he, when he has to do dramatic performances, he shines so bright. Like, I wish he did more in his career, but I understand that he is a beloved comedic actor as well. But when he gets performances like these, he knocks it out of the park. He kills it. Much like in this movie. Anyway, spoilers. Minor spoilers, don't worry. I think he worked with Al Pacino really well. I really liked the two of them. And yeah, he's so cold and chilling, and his performance is just so good in this movie. It's the main reason I loved this movie as much as I did.
He's a good killer. 1 Hour Photo, Law and Order SVU. Also, I thought about talking about because like he's a good creep as well if he has to be.
Yeah, that SVU episode is scary.
I have not seen that. I need to watch it now.
Yeah, and it's definitely one you can kind of like. You don't need to like watch the whole thing. Like, yeah, shout out that episode. Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. I'm gonna look it up later. But that's Insomnia. Yeah, great pick. I agree totally with the whole Nolan thing. It's not one of his. He's only got like 11 movies, but I think a lot of people put this towards the bottom just because it isn't as memorable as some of his other movies. It's his.
Dunkirk. I'm saying it now.
Yeah, it's. You're saying what?
Insomnia over Dunkirk.
I don't hate that, but Yeah. Jake, what do you think is an underrated Robin Williams performance or movie? Whatever we decided.
So I do have a cheeky answer for that one. I'm going to say To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with this film?
No.
All right, Robin Williams only has a cameo. He's in it for like 2 seconds, so it's not my real answer, but he is funny in it.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, I believe.
Yep.
Yes,
that's what's up.
uncredited cameo. I'm on his Wikipedia page right now.
Yep. But hilarious movie. John Leguizamo, Pat Swayze, and Wesley Snipes are drag queens, and they get stuck in bumfuck Arkansas or some shit. It's hilarious. Oh, sorry. I don't know if we're allowed to say F and S words.
PG show, gosh darn it.
Somebody nominated The Prestige, so we were all alone.
Gosh, I'm gonna go with Hook on the underrated, given it like I didn't want to because gosh, it takes like 2 hours to get into the movie before it's good. But I mean, all of the Neverland bits are fun. Food fight, Bangarang, Rufio. Who doesn't love all those noises? So yeah, I'll go with Hook upon finding out how poorly it is actually rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I think definitely at the time it wasn't received as well, but throughout the years, I think people just love this movie. I hear nothing but love for it when it's talked about. Jordan, are you okay? I feel like we're in that.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a tour and I'm moving rooms.
What was that movie that came out last year? The Host, the one that was completely done on Zoom. Anyway.
Word.
I wouldn't necessarily say Hook is underrated in my opinion, but you know, my opinion is not the only one that counts. So whatever. It's a good movie. It is a good movie. I think a lot of people like it now, as opposed to whenever it came out. Like, what was it?
96?
90, yeah.
Or
90. Where'd it go? I'm on his Wikipedia page and I can't see it. 91.
Oh, right. I was
So
way off. I knew that too. What am I doing?
Yeah. But 30 years later, people love it, and I'm glad people love it now. Well, Jordan, you got thoughts on Hook? We briefly mentioned it earlier, but
yeah, that one's hard to say because, like we've all already said, review-wise, yeah, underrated. I might even say it's overrated for fans because there is flaws in it, but there are some great moments as well. Like I said, as a kid, it definitely captured my imagination, so it's a good one.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with either of those picks. Insomnia, Hook, and I am going to pick one that I think was overshadowed by Aladdin. They came out the same year, and that is the movie Fern Gully. I loved this movie as a child. It was probably the animated movie I watched the most besides The Lion King. I think the songs in it are fantastic. And Robin Williams as Batty, I think he was just showing us what was to come when he was the genie in Aladdin, which came out the same year. Which I just found out. I thought Fern Gully was like a year or two earlier, but I'm not good at trivia, apparently. I wouldn't have gotten that right. Anyway, he's fantastic. He's he's fantastic as Batty. He gives a great voice performance. And the movie itself is really good. Tim Curry as Hexus. Like the voice performance. I don't think I've ever been scared of a voice performance before, except for that one. And that's probably because I was like 5 or 6 when I was watching this movie. But back to Robin Williams, Batty, the Batty rap. It's like one of the best musical numbers in all of movies. I will die for that one. I will go. Don't argue with me. Don't at me. What do you guys think about Ferngully?
I love Ferngully too, man. Batty Rat, fantastic. Again, Tim Curry, terrifying, fantastic. It just, and I agree. I think Ferngully is better than Aladdin as well.
Oh, I didn't say that. I will never say that.
Right, my bad.
But I do love it. Here it is. Oh, it is. And I think like 12-year-old me was like, "Oh, hey, Krista, cool." But PG.
I'm gonna agree with you guys. I really love Ferngully. Another pretty big rewatch in the house here back in the day as a kid. What can you say? When you got voices like him and Tim Curry, two awesome, very character actors as well with their voices. It was a lot of fun. Also, a message beneath too, which is kind of nice. And really, really good movie as well. And I'm glad. I do think maybe to a degree it is underrated because, like you said. Robin Williams' voice, people can automatically say Aladdin, but this is, again, just as funny, just if, you know what I mean? And he's so great in it. And, I like Ferngully a lot. So I'm glad that's getting shown some love.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this movie. I might even throw it on when we're done here. So those are our underrated picks. Now let's get...
You haven't seen, you're 10 behind.
Shut up, Jordan. Don't remind me. Anyway... for those of you that don't know what he's talking about, I'm trying to watch 365 new to me movies, not including new 2021 releases, because that would just be too easy, I think. I like to make it. Yeah, I like to make things a little challenging. Obviously, I'm 10 behind.
You found him in the years challenging enough. You're gonna put the caveats on it too.
Yeah, so it's only this year I'm not counting. So if it came out in 2020, it's fair game. I'm a little behind. I'm trying to catch up. Life gets in the way. We know how that is. Life happens. But let's get
a movie with Kristen Ritter, 12 points.
We're not doing trivia, Jordan. But let's get into the top three that we have, and I want to start this one off, and I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1 for mine, and my number 3 is another one that I just watched for the first time this year, and that is Dead Poets Society. I loved this movie. I think it was the right blend of drama and comedy for him, because I think he had some funny moments, but the dramatic parts were extremely well done. The story was fantastic. I was hooked from start to finish. And his relationship with the students, like that, I think that's a great example of what a teacher-student relationship should be. I don't think it just has to be, not too much out of the classroom, but you should be I think you should be comfortable with your teachers. And if you can say hi to them outside of the classroom, then I think the teacher's doing a good job. In my opinion, anyway. But that's not what this discussion is about. And the end of this movie. I love the end of this movie when they're all standing on the desks. Spoilers if you haven't seen a 32-year-old movie. When they're all and reciting the poem, and he's just standing there. It's and the smile, like he is so proud of his students. It's fantastic. I think this is one of his best performances, and probably one of my favorite performances, period, in movies. I loved it that much. What do you guys think about Dead Poet Society? Did it make any of your top threes?
Yeah, I haven't quite nailed it down, but it is in there. I do have it at like 3 as far as the way this list goes. I agree. This is the performance I'm referring to as the anti-Bicentennial Man, anti-Patch Adams. This is him at drama, and he's doing fantastic with it. It's amazing. Love the ending scene as well. and I'm left-handed, so eating with your left hand is cool by me. I feel like they show a little solidarity there. But yeah, I love this movie. I got shown it in school. It was the first time I had ever seen it with a really cool teacher, so it kind of ties into that. Thumbs up.
Mr. Doubtfire.
So Tato, this is your number 3? Is this your number 3, Jake?
Oh, sorry. Sure, yeah.
Well, then we're all in agreement across the board here. It's my number 3. I thought about standing on a table, but that could just lead to horrible results, and I don't want to be on ridiculousness later in the season. So, great movie here, man. Not as late to the party as Jacob, but one I saw probably in the last 5-10 years. And just absolutely loved it. You also did depress me a little bit because when you said it's 32 years old, I was about to go, it's not that old because, wait, I am that old. So it is that old. Oh, but besides that, it's a really good movie. So, yeah, I love it, man. He really walks that line. And I'm going to mention other performances that I feel like are kind of on the same level of, he has very charming moments, funny moments, but dramatic moments that he absolutely nails. And yeah, fantastic movie. The number 3, I loved my first 2. I felt like I really had to talk about. The third one was hard. This is the one I ended up going with as well, though. Dead Poets Society. Carpe diem, people.
Carpe diem. I'm glad we could agree on this. So instead of me going to my number 2, I will defer to Jake. What do you have for your number 2?
Maybe we'll all agree.
Yeah, I should have worked harder on this. I'm gonna go with August Rush here. Love the movie. His performance is fantastic. Is kind of a douche. And he doesn't really get to do that often. Where he's he's got the maniacal, smart villain kind of thing going on in. I'm presumably Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo. But here he's just kind of a crappy guy, but he's somewhat helpful, but not really at all. Total douche. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. I'll go with August Rush.
Interesting pick, Jordan. What?
For the first time on the show, I can't weigh in now. I've never seen this one. I think I went to rent it once and found other things to rent or the night of returning and never got around to it. I don't know. I never saw this one. Was it Freddie Highmore? Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have seen this, and I think his performance is better than the movie as a whole, in my opinion. But I still think it's a fantastic movie. This just misses my top 3, but it would probably, his performance alone probably puts it top 10. When it comes to Robin Williams movies, Jordan, I would recommend it. I think it's a different character that we don't see from Robin Williams a lot, and so it's definitely an interesting performance that I think people, if you haven't seen it, you should see it because when I first saw it, I wasn't sure if it was Robin Williams. I had to actually look it up. Is that Robin Williams? And it was Robin Williams. And I don't know why I didn't recognize him. So, for an actor like Robin Williams to do that, I think it speaks to how good of an actor he really is. And I don't know if that was just me being stupid at the time, or because I didn't know anything about the movie going into it, other than the title, and I was like, oh, sure, I'll put this on. And it turned out to be a good choice because I loved the movie and I loved Robin Williams' performance.
Yeah, I might have to check it out because August is the best month, my birth month.
It's top 12. Jordan, what do you have for your second choice as your top 3 Robin Williams movies?
Jacob, if I ever lost you and I found out you were in hell, I would come and I would save you. It's What Dreams May Come is my second one here. I think there's some suggestions with the plot and everything, but I think he's so good in here, and there's some really great monologue moments here, and towards the end of what he's willing to do to save his loved one, and he absolutely makes what could have been a very melancholy script work. I think it's a beautiful looking movie visually. I think it has a lot of interesting ideas, and I just thought he's absolutely wonderful in it. So, What Dreams May Come is actually going to be my second one.
I cannot weigh in on this one. Don't worry, Jordan. I'll see it. Don't yell at me. Jake, can you weigh in on this one? Oh, all right. Well, Jordan, you did sell me with that beautiful pitch, though. So, I'll have to go see it.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was making really good movies. So,
Who?
Show Me the Money, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Before Boat Trip, so and Snow Dog, or whatever it was called.
Daddy Daycare. Was that him? I don't do I
Daddy Daycare 2, my friend.
Daddy Daycare 2. That, yeah. See, this is why I wouldn't be good at trivia. Anyway, my second choice is probably my favorite Robin Williams performance, and that is Good Will Hunting. I think he is fantastic in this movie as a supporting character. Again, shows his dramatic side and shows it to perfection. His scenes with Matt Damon are nearly perfection, in my opinion. I think the two of them played off each other so well. Especially one of those later scenes when Matt Damon is giving that monologue and telling that story, and just the emotion he's able to portray. It's fantastic. It's another one I just watched for the first time recently, and I want to watch it again and again because I loved his performance that much. And I loved his ad-libbed line at the end. I'm pretty sure it was ad-libbed when he said, "Son of a bee, stole my line." He's just he's so good. Like, I love his dramatic roles. He's such a good comedic actor, but I think when he's really able to act seriously, like I've said before, like, he just knocks it out of the park. And this is another one that he absolutely knocked out of the park, in my opinion. So, Jordan, you got thoughts on Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, man. My only thoughts is I'm done talking because this is my number one pick, man. Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams. I believe, yes, it was ad lib because in the script it was just he smiles and walks away. He had that last line here, and I've always loved him in this movie here, dating back to drama in high school. This was a monologue I had memorized as Your Move, Chief monologue. I had it word for word at one point in my life. I literally am moving right now. I just found out my printed copy, literally like the other day. You wouldn't know about sitting up in a hospital room for 2 months, holding your hand because the doctors could see in your eyes the term visiting hours. Don't apply to you. I just love that entire monologue. I think he's so good in this. Again, kind of like Dead Poet Society, he walks such a fine line of charming, smart, dramatic, of, you know what I mean? He's a full-fleshed character, even though, like you said, he's not the main character. It's Matt Damon, but he's the one that really kind of steals the show here. Robin Williams, man, that's why we're talking about him. Lovely performance here, and yeah, it's my number one. I kind of pretty much knew that before I read his list over, and it was in the end. So yeah, I'm with you, baby.
Yes, it's such a good movie performance. Jake, what do you think about Good Will Hunting?
Everything you guys already said. The beautiful comedy, drama, mashups like in Dead Poets. Fantastic. I'm bummed that he's not around for Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season.
Apples.
Yeah, so Jordan's number one, which I'm really surprised. I thought there was another movie that we would all have in common. It's my number one, but Jake, what is your number one?
Just the way it is written here, I have The Birdcage. Just a fantastic performance. And I don't know that it is inherently better than Good Will Hunting. Probably not if I go back and look at these movies again, but it's been a minute since I've seen Good Will Hunting, and I definitely should go back on that. But Birdcage, fantastic performance, great movie. Nathan Lane is fun. Just yeah, I'm not great at talking, so Birdcage.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many gaps I had in Robin Williams until just now, because this is another one that I have not seen. I've been meaning to see it. I'm pretty sure I owned it at one point and sold it or something because I just didn't know if I would get around to watching it. Maybe I needed money at the time. I was poor. Anyway, not one that I've seen, one that is on my radar because I think Nathan Lane and Robin Williams could be fantastic together. Jordan, do you have thoughts on The Birdcage?
My thought is go buy the goddamn movie again and watch it, Jacob. This was so close to being on my list. I think I even almost started typing the B in Birdcage, and I was like, because if you're just going for like hilariosity, he's so freaking funny in it. You guys already showed love to Nathan Lane here. They're such a great pairing in this. Hank Azaria too, very funny as well. Gene Hackman is the straight man here, with no pun intended. Is the more character. So I love this movie here, man. Yeah, definitely no argument here. Absolutely love The Birdcage. Very one of those that I definitely fought for that third spot in my mind. Go watch it, Jacob.
I will, and I must say I am surprised that my number one was not in your top threes, because I think this is, when we think Robin Williams, we think Aladdin, and it might be a safe pick. It might not be the coolest pick, but it's my pick. It's Aladdin. It's might just be nostalgia. That might just be my childhood bias. Because I loved Aladdin as a child. I love Aladdin as an adult. And Robin Williams as the genie is just fantastic. I think it's the greatest voice performance in animated movie history, maybe. I'm not going to go on record as saying that, but I might go on record as saying that. If not the best, top three for sure. And the way he was able to improvise in the studio, if you watch the behind the scenes, this man was a genius, and I think this just shows his genius. And not to mention the movie is just really good as well. I think it's one of the best animated movies of all time, and I think one of the main reasons is Robin Williams as the genie. I think his impressions in the movie are fantastic. I think the songs are extremely well done. I just think this is as near a perfect animated movie as we're gonna get, and I'm ashamed of both of you for not putting it in your top three, and you are never invited on the show again. And for that, we will say goodnight. No, I'm just kidding. What are your thoughts on Aladdin? I'm sure you guys enjoy the movie still. Right?
Absolutely. I do have it just below Fern Gully, both in my heart and on this scribbled list. But yeah, Aladdin is not one of my favorite of those Disney movies. I like it better than Lion King. It hits about the same as Little Mermaid for me. And maybe I'm a little late on it, it's possible, because my Disney movies were kind of Emperor's New Groove and Mulan. Those were the ones that I ran the tape out on. So it could be that I was just a little late to the party for Aladdin to be huge for me. I still love it, though. Genie, fantastic, obviously. Songs, great, like you said. But yeah, this one probably would be in between the 5 and 8 region for me if I actually watched more movies and came up with a cohesive list.
Oh, my lists are always changing. It doesn't always change.
I've never seen this one. Is this good? No. Don't kick me out of the stream. No, I like Aladdin. More of a Will Smith guy. I'm just kidding again. Don't kill me.
No, I didn't hate his genie performance, by the way.
I don't.
Will Smith, I thought.
Yeah, no, this is great. This was definitely another big. I mean, Robin Williams. I think that's why we all have such love for him. Maybe Tatum's a little bit younger, but like another VHS that got ran through a lot was Aladdin. In my household, so we talked about multiple times of the overusing those VHSs here with Robin Williams. Great performance here. Maybe I didn't include it because when I think of performance, I do usually tend to go towards live action because I think that's more of a complete hat trick. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you
that's fair.
need him visually there for like Dead Poet Society, and which means becomes very a visual movie in general here. So that's just where my head goes here. But as far as voice performances, if you say name your top 5 without jotting it down, I'm gonna go, okay, Robin Williams, Aladdin, that's gonna be like right on top of the head. So yeah, it's a great performance here. I mean, he's so good. Even in Robots, he's the best part, and so what I mean, he's great.
Yes, he is.
My hand. Hey, that's new.
Yeah, I'm very surprised at the differences in our top 3 list. I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought for sure there would be after Dead Post Society. I was like, oh, now we're all gonna have Aladdin in common, and this is gonna be boring. And I was the only one that had it in my top 3, so I'm pleasantly surprised at that. But with that, I think this is the first time we're going under an hour, and that is goal achieved. I'm loving the fact that this has been not an hour and a half like most of these go, which if we did a nerd list, I'm sure we would still be arguing about movies that should be in the top 7 of Robin Williams. But with that said, Jake, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Oh, I'm around here sometimes. I just had a match drop on Sunday in TM Geek. So go check that out there. And yeah, I'm just always around, happy to talk movies, even when I don't know how to talk.
Talking is hard sometimes. Jordan, where can people find you?
Words no good with them IMs. You can find me over at the Periscope doing some movie trivia podcast show about show. We do a top 10 review all the recent movies here. We can also find me over at Pierce Wrestling, doing some wrestling trivia, wrestling reviews as well, live wrestling matches, Real Pro Wrestling. I help run that in Fort Myers. You can find me there. We'll be live July 10th at the Crown Plaza in Fort Myers, Florida, featuring me and other people. Jacob will be there to cage match. He doesn't know yet. And all sorts of places too, doing trivia and podcasts. I've had a little bit of a hiatus while I'm moving, but come July, I'm gonna be everywhere.
Everywhere. Make sure to go check it out. And you can catch me right here, Nerd Entertainment Network, every Tuesday. Hopefully this becomes consistent again. I've had some time off for personal reasons, but we're back at it. Every Tuesday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And you can catch me over at Combat Wrestling Trivia, where hopefully things are, going to start popping off again, and I can have some matches.
That's the only wrestling trivia you play, Jacob? I see how it is.
It's the only wrestling trivia I'm good at. But yeah, so you can catch me over there. You can catch me here every Tuesday. Wednesdays, the Horoscope podcast is back with Hunter Chambliss. He's back, and he will be back on Thursday as well with the new show called Skip It or Stream It or something like that. I'm sure he'll watch this later and be like, you totally butchered the name, but he's going to watch a movie, review the movie, and tell you, should you see it, skip it, or stream it. Anyway, and, we got movie trivia. We got the nerd division. The horror division will be coming soon. So lots of good stuff coming.
I'll be in that.
Lots of good stuff coming to the Nerd Entertainment Network. I will not be in that. I will stick to regular movie trivia where I will perform.
I'll never be in it again, but I'm in the first one.
I will stick to regular movie trivia and perform very subpar. And with that said, Jake, Jordan, thank you for joining me and talking some Robin Williams. I am your host, Jacob Barber, and we will see you guys next week. Take it easy.